Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're someone who is completely exhausted from just staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., you are absolutely in the right place. We're skipping the generic advice today. No wellness marketing hype, no lavender sprays, and definitely no one telling you to just relax. Instead, we're going to look at how to actually troubleshoot our biological sleep mechanics using hard clinical data. We're diving into a solution that has been quietly going viral across overseas tech and biohacking communities: Tart cherry juice.
But before we get to the fix, we kind of need to agitate the problem a bit. I want you to ask yourself this: why is your body actively destroying its own sleep hormones? You might literally be doing everything right, dimming the lights, staying off your phone, but you're still tossing and turning. Well, what if I told you that the high-stress, modern lifestyle you're leading is actively biochemically sabotaging your internal sleep mechanics from the inside out? It's a totally fascinating, but incredibly frustrating biological glitch.
Okay, here's a roadmap for today's explainer. First, demystifying Tart cherry juice. Second, protecting core sleep materials. Third, clinical sleep dividends. Fourth, scientific pitfalls and a consumption guide. And lastly, building natural sleep loops. Let's get into it.
Section 1. Demystifying Tart cherry juice.
Just to ground us in some real authority here, the insights we're unpacking today come straight from a deep dive analysis by sleep.peaceoneweb.site. They're a professional sleep health and AI technology platform, and they've actually compiled clinical medicine evidence alongside multi-source big data to figure out the underlying physiological mechanics of why tart cherries actually work. So we aren't just guessing here, we're looking directly at the mechanics.
Now, this is where it gets super fascinating. There's this massive gap between common belief and scientific reality. You've probably heard that tart cherries have natural melatonin in them, right? And, well, they do. But the medical data shows that these trace amounts of melatonin are nowhere near enough to explain the really outstanding sleep results we see in clinical trials. The actual scientific reality? Tart cherry juice works as a powerful tryptophan preservative. Its core advantage isn't just dumping melatonin into your system, it's actively protecting your human tryptophan metabolism pathway.
Section 2. Protecting core sleep materials.
Think of this as the nasty little bug in your internal operating system. Tryptophan is the absolute core raw material your body uses to synthesize serotonin and melatonin, which are, the crucial chemicals you need for sleep. But when you're constantly under high stress or dealing with chronic inflammation, an enzyme called IDO gets activated. This IDO enzyme essentially goes rogue. It forcibly degrades your precious tryptophan and turns it into a neurotoxic substance called kynurenine. So your brain is suffering this massive invalid depletion of sleep materials. You're basically leaking the very fuel you need to sleep.
So how do we patch this bug? Well, enter Tart cherry juice. It is incredibly rich in these very specific active polyphenols, specifically B2-type proanthocyanidins. It's a mouthful, I know, but think of these as a targeted biological patch. They strongly inhibit the activity of that rogue IDO enzyme. By blocking the invalid consumption of tryptophan, Tart cherry juice makes sure your raw sleep materials aren't just destroyed by chronic inflammation. It actually strengthens your internal sleep drive from the very root.
Section 3. Clinical sleep dividends.
84. Guys, in the world of sleep science, an extra 84 minutes of sleep is absolutely monumental. According to randomized double-blind crossover trials analyzed by the platform, patients over the age of 50 who were dealing with chronic insomnia actually saw their average total night sleep time extended by exactly 84 minutes. And this wasn't just some subjective, "oh, I feel a bit better" survey. This was objectively tracked and measured. Here's exactly how it went down. Patients drank 240 milliliters of pure tart cherry juice morning and night for 2 whole weeks. Objective Actigraphy monitors showed a massive reduction in wakefulness after they fell asleep, heavily enhanced sleep coherence, and a really significant jump in their deep sleep ratio. But honestly, the most fascinating part, blood tests verified a drop in hypersensitive C-reactive protein, or hs-CRP. That proves the juice was actively fighting the inflammation that triggers our bug from earlier, that rogue IDO enzyme.
Section 4. Scientific pitfalls and consumption guide.
Listen, this is where most people completely crash the system. The market is absolutely flooded with these cherry-flavored drinks that are, frankly, just marketing traps. If you fall for the traps loaded with refined sugar and high-fructose corn syrup, that sugar is going to cause your blood glucose to wildly fluctuate at night. And what does that do? It triggers an abnormal secretion of cortisol. Cortisol is an alert hormone. It will actively destroy your deep sleep. You absolutely must insist on the science-backed choices: 100% pure, zero added sugar, non-concentrated juice, or standardized freeze-dried capsules.
Seriously, don't let a bad product sabotage a perfectly good biological mechanism.
And getting the timing right, navigating that golden window for consumption, is just as critical. Let's look at the exact user manual provided by the expert team at sleep.p1web.site to make sure you nail this.
Okay, here is your exact protocol. Step 1. Prep 240 milliliters of pure juice. Or if you're using concentrate, just mix 30 milliliters with water. Step 2, and this is a big one, do not just chug this right as your head hits the pillow. Consume it 1.5 to 2 hours before bed, or honestly, just have it with your dinner. Step 3, you have to allow adequate time for gastrointestinal absorption and blood circulation. You've got to give those active B2-type proanthocyanidins time to circulate, reach your brain, and shut down that IDO enzyme before you actually try to go to sleep.
Finally, Section 5, Building Natural Sleep Loops.
If there's one thing the platform's research makes crystal clear, it's that there is no single magical superfood that's going to instantly cure modern, stubborn insomnia. Tart cherry juice, it is a highly effective, scientifically validated biological tool, but it is still just one tool. Optimal sleep really requires synergy. It's all about combining this nutritional regulation with rhythm remodeling and environmental optimization. This is where blending natural solutions with AI acoustics and data-driven sleep tracking tools, like the ones offered by sleep.pit1web.site, creates a truly comprehensive closed-loop ecosystem for deep sleep.
Which leaves us with this final thought. You now know exactly how stress breaks down your sleep materials, and you literally have the biochemical patch to fix it. So what do you say? Are you ready to stop fighting your own biology and start auditing your entire sleep ecosystem? Apply these insights, grab the right tools, and take back your night. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and here is to troubleshooting your way to a perfect night's sleep.